everyone.
How are you,
Hello.
Steph? How are you, Ems? Maribas?
Hi.
Hey, how are you? Sorry, guys. One of you has YouTube open.
You alright?
Yeah. Please, go ahead. Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
That's
Okay.
nice.
Awesome. So, hi everyone. Hi everyone on YouTube. And
There's
everyone.
still some
Yeah,
audio,
there's
huh?
just an echo, but I'm not sure where it's coming from.
Yeah. Do any of you have YouTube or the other video events?
Yeah, I had YouTube on. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. It's
Oh,
all right.
maybe that.
The
Sorry.
wonders of life connecting. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching, for joining us today again for another remote room edition. So today we are talking a really special subject. It was our first remote room, and we had some people that were asking for a second edition, especially a second one in English because the first one we did it in Spanish. So we're really happy to actually do it again. So today we're giving tips for writing a winning English CV for US tech companies. So we have here Emily. So it's one of our amazing recruiters at Tekla. Mari Paz, who is one of our hiring managers, and Gino, that is our CEO and founder. And today we're gonna review live CVs that our community has sent to us. So yeah, hi everyone. Please, guys, can you share a little bit about yourselves? You can go, Gino. You can go first.
Perfect. Well, I'm the founder here at Tekla, and we've been, like Steph said, I think receiving quite a bit of interest in the episodes in which we discuss CVs and give some feedback. So yeah, I'm happy that we're doing this for a second time.
Awesome. What about you, Maripaz?
Well, hey, my name is Maripaz. I am one of Tecla's recruiting managers. I'm from Costa Rica, and I'm really happy and really excited to have this second edition reviewing live CVs.
Thank you. Ems, our new
Awesome.
addition.
Yeah, hello everyone. This is great. So I'm Emily. I'm a talent acquisition specialist at Tekla, training to be a hiring manager. But yeah, I feel like this topic is so on demand. I feel like everyone constantly asks me, "Hey, that you're in HR, how can I get like a winning CV?" So this is your chance to know a little bit more.
Hey, Jew.
Yeah,
Awesome.
hey you.
Awesome. So we have our first comment here. Glad to be here with you guys. I'm going to share it with you guys. I'm so curious about this. I'm a global remote recruiter based in Quito, Ecuador. So that's really cool for it's not only for candidates, also it can be for recruiters as well, because you actually learn more about how the US market works and the industry in general. So hi, I don't see your name over here, but I'm sure I'll see it in a bit. It's having some glitch over here. But okay, we're gonna start right away. So we're gonna review 6 CVs today, live reviewing. We hope with the time we can get to review all of them, and at the end we're gonna share with you the example that we always share with the candidates here in Tekla. So be sure to stay at the end to actually have those examples and like the final template that we know works well. So the first one, it's over here. Of course, we change all the photos and the data. Don't worry about it. We are really always about data protection and everything, privacy. So it's all good. So this
Yeah.
first CV is from Argentina. He's an engineer from Argentina, and actually Emily was the one who reviewed and has some feedback about it. What can you say, Ems, about this one?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so starting from top to bottom, I think the first thing that we need to look out here is the title of the CV itself. I don't know if we can show the first. I don't know if it's just lagging
Yeah,
for
this
me
is
or
the
not.
one with
Okay.
all the feedback. Yeah, you can go
Okay,
ahead.
awesome. Okay, great. So at the very top, you can see that it says curriculum. My recommendation is that you put, instead of writing curriculum, because we know we're opening a curriculum, just put your name there, right? So put it in like big, bold letters, so the recruiter knows who they're going to read about right from the beginning. Okay, so that's definitely a recommendation that I would say. And then the picture. I feel like this is a very controversial topic. I don't know what you guys think, but
Always.
um, it's always a thing, right? For me personally, what I believe would be a good advice is to not put it, not because it's like I don't know, it's not because I'm like just don't put it, but because I believe that you just never really know what the reader's bias is, right? So you don't know if the person that reads your CV sees your picture, you don't know if they're going to have a positive reaction or a negative reaction. It really could go both ways. So just to like reduce the risk there, I would recommend to not put it. But I don't know what you guys think about that, like the picture CVs.
Yeah, I think the same as you.
Yeah, we spoke about it in
Yeah,
the first edition too,
Mhm.
and I think that most CVs in the U.S. Don't have a picture, and so I still think it's something that is still very popular in Latin America. But like you said,
yeah,
I mean, it's really in today's world where you're supposed to be judged on merit. It's better to leave the
Not
photo out, and hopefully that becomes a norm as well everywhere else. I think.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And then when we go like under the title next to the picture, this person decided to put like a little summary of like their university, specialty, sex, nationality, and all of that. Um, I I think we always say, right, that the resume should be just like one page only. I personally believe that if you have like a lot of information to share and you cannot fit it all in one page, then that's fine. But if you're gonna have more than one page, make sure that the information that shows in in the first page is the most important information that you want to show the recruiter, because there's more chances of the person to keep reading if they are engaged from the very beginning, and if they
validates. Yeah.
yeah, it's like more likely that the recruiter will stay engaged in a long resume if the very top on the first page of the resume there's very engaging and relevant information to the position that you're applying to. So this information, you will find it throughout the resume. Specifically information like the university, you will find it. There's no real need to put your information about sex, nationality, date of birth,
Mhm.
age, and marital status. That's honestly personal information that is not really relevant to make a judge on what a professional is like and how will they perform at their work. So I would definitely recommend not putting that. So yeah, I would say that. And then there's like a little yellow box on the LinkedIn thing. That's great. Like putting your information of contact, such as the country that you're from, your email, your phone number. That's great. And if you're gonna put links, make sure that they are hyperlinks, so they can
Exactly.
easily like just like click it and go like straight to your LinkedIn. And it's like so much easier for the recruiter. um but it
Yeah,
is great that this is included.
I see a lot of CVs sometimes from sometimes UX UI designers and stuff, and they forget to hyperlink the links, and it's like Behance
Mhm.
or Dribble type of links,
Yeah,
and then you have to go into the browser and really make sure that you type in every letter correctly just to get to the portfolio. So it is important to test the PDF to see if the hyperlinks are working, and then like you said, like getting all of the links paints us today, like not everything is on the CV, so the links help like to GitHub or Stack Overflow or
yeah,
wherever you want to send the recruiter to gather a little more info. I think those are always super helpful.
yeah, definitely. And then just in line with what I was saying like a couple minutes ago, that your first page should be like very impactful. Writing about your professional skills, that's something that can be read on your under like your professional experience. So if you do want to highlight, like for example, a very specific professional skill that you're like this is like my selling point, make sure to include it under your professional experience. and try to make it very tangible, like with examples, right? So say that I'm an awesome leader and my team members love me. Um, how can I know that they love you, right? Give me a proper example, like even give me numbers. Like for example, I'm an amazing UX designer, UX UI designer. I can put that I am an awesome UX UI designer, but how can they know that I'm saying the truth, right? So you can be like, I created a page which resulted in, I don't know, 10% increase on time, I don't know, like read time. I don't know how to say that, but like people stay on the page that
Yeah,
I've
yeah, yeah.
designed for 10% more time than the
Retention.
previous design. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, give examples with numbers. Make sure that the person that reads it know like, oh, these are facts. These are not like my personal opinion. You cannot be your own judge, right? So make it as objective and like very tangible examples that you can give. And then it's great that you show your languages as well, because that's very important, especially for US companies that we want to know what other languages you speak, because most of the time, team members are from all over the world. So the more you can communicate with them, the better it is. So yeah, show them all and show your level as well. Like what's your proficiency at each
That's
language.
That's perfect because we have just a question from Bruno from YouTube. So he's saying, is it worth putting the level of English in the CV? So yeah,
Yeah.
you just answer it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's great if, like, for example, if you have TOEFL, you can definitely put it. If you have or any other certification, right? That's 100% valid. We see a lot of the little like progress bars. I don't know what you guys think about those progress bars. They definitely help visually, but yeah, I don't know.
That's a debate, right? So
That's
I
the
think we
thing.
can we can we can change from this CV. So
Yeah.
when it's a lot about the space, like about the how he used actual the all the information. You have to actually know how to brief the information, right? How
Mhm.
that's a skill as well. So
It is.
Yeah.
so what before we go to the next one, what do you guys think overall, like all of you, Emily, Maripaz, and Gino, about this one, about just first CP?
I believe that it's extremely long. That like you should max use 2 pages to summarize like all your information. Also, something really important that was mentioning Emily is that some CVs include the achievement parts like in a different section, and it's something that you should also include like below each like work experience. And also something that I see about this person is that he doesn't like enlist the text that he used, right?
Mm-hmm, just a paragraph.
Yeah, it's also something really really important to include that inside the job experience of each job that you've had.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I agree. It's too long. It's too much essay writing. Like the writing should be more bullet points and more
Mhm.
concise. And overall, it looks more like an essay type of writing than
Like a
CV
cover
writing.
letter
Yeah, and the order is
all over the
pretty
place.
pretty wrong. I think. Yeah, it should be the experience first if possible. So yeah, there's definitely some improvements that can be made for sure.
Awesome. So I hope you know who you are. You are you are seeing the live, and of course you can always
Yeah.
message us and at the end of the event, or you can even put your questions over here on YouTube for LinkedIn. We will happy to answer them. So let's go to the next one. The second one is a full stack engineer from Peru, and it was actually reviewed by Maripaz. So I'm
Mhm.
gonna change the layout. I think here it will be better. Okay. So this one is, I think, only 2 pages. Yeah.
No, no, this one
No,
is also a really long CV.
no, I was completely wrong. Okay, Maripaz, what you can just say about this one? I'm gonna go to the review with one. Okay, this is extremely long.
Yeah, it's extremely long.
7 pages.
Yeah, 7 or 8, I think. But yeah.
Okay. What do you think, Mati?
So the first thing is the about me section is extremely long. Like I would use maybe a paragraph to talk about my experience, not only because I believe that here he's talking about his personal experience. So it's better maybe to avoid that and just talk about your professional experience where you're making a little summary, and you should do it like a paragraph long or maybe less. Another thing is that if you are applying to international companies, I believe that your street name will be unnecessary information because, like, for example, when I'm reading a CV, the important thing is the country, maybe not like the street or, all of
Mhm.
that. And another thing is that I believe on the top part, he enlists a lot of things below here. It says like IT professional, full stack developer, then he enlists a lot of things that maybe like you should only focus on the main things you're doing right now. So yeah, maybe we
Like
can.
next to the data, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Hmm.
So the first page is all over himself, right? Or like a paragraph about himself. It was like Gina was saying before.
Yeah,
It's
like
like an essay, like an
an essay.
professional. Yeah,
Yeah, like
that's
a
I like
professional essay.
the format.
Hmm. Another thing that we should take into consideration when we're doing like an English CV is to look for the Spanish words. So if you can see there, he writes curso instead of course or seminario. So there's like little details that you should pay attention to, and
I
also
think
sorry,
yeah,
that the information is like like you could like use a little a more little space to put all that information about your courses and all of that because it takes almost a page. Hmm.
yeah, it's almost a page all about that, and you can have like a small section. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people do is they try to translate the Spanish
Yeah.
CV, only translate it and not actually start writing one in English.
Hmm.
What do you guys think about that? You can tell, right, when you are reading like a like just a translation and not actually like someone put the time and effort to write an English one.
Yeah, we can tell.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it shows the attention to detail. Obviously, you should be careful to translate all of the words and make sure that there's no words that are still in Spanish, for example. So I think that that definitely shows. And then, like to what I think, Bruno asked if it's worth putting the level of English. I think that a good way is the way that we have it on our website on the application process for any job, where like it's a number out of 10, but it also has a little description of what that number means. Like what's an 8 out of 10, what's a 6 out of 10, and we define what each number means. And I think that that's super helpful because otherwise a bar like Em was saying doesn't really help. It's too subjective. And then the scores from courses and like the certifications like TOEFL and stuff like that. Even that, I mean, in the tech world, I don't think most recruiting managers know what a good score or a bad score is. Most hiring managers in the US hiring in Latin America do not know what a good score is from a bad score. So it would be better to
Yeah.
just describe what your level of English is in one sentence. Like I can speak English with minor mistakes, or I can read and write really well, but can't really speak that fluently. I mean, something that describes it would be better, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also in line with like the courses and everything, like it's great that you like take a lot of courses and you have a lot of certifications, and obviously that took you a lot of effort, so you want to show that to the recruiters. But make sure that those that you're putting are relevant to the position that you're applying for, because as we were saying, right, like the space, it is like you need to be very smart of how you use that space. So show that the information that is going to sell you the best. So say
Exactly.
I have like 10 courses, but only 2 of them are like really relevant to like the software engineer position that I'm applying for. So just highlight those 2. It's totally fine. You can definitely talk about them, the other 8 courses during the interview, but make sure that those 2 that are the most important ones are showing in your resume. The other ones can be left out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they will still be on your LinkedIn, right? So
Yeah.
you can still show them show them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so another thing about DCB is that he puts like the links of interest below everything. So for me, I believe that the LinkedIn link is really important. Like you should put it in the personal data space. So yeah, it's like, I don't know. I believe that this information looks a little disorganized. Like, okay, you first like are mentioning your email and all of your stuff, and then you're mentioning this. So that's another thing. Then we can see that he has another professional summary. So of course I will take that out and I will add that with the first thing we saw, and try to make like a brief resume of, I don't know, a paragraph long. Also, on major achievements, it was something that I was mentioning with the last CV, that your achievements, you should put them below each work experience. Like, for example, these were my achievements when I worked at this place specifically. And as Emily was mentioning, try to use numbers, try to be objective when you're explaining your achievements. So, yeah, I believe that putting them like, you know, in a different place, it's also gonna look disorganized and also a waste of space.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of mistakes that actually are really common, so
Yeah.
we can talk about all of with the other ones. Let's go to the next one. So we're going fast forward this really long
Okay.
CV.
Yeah. Maybe something that I would add is that he put like the tech skills on another part.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know.
at the end, right?
Yeah,
It was
the specific skills. So you should also add that in below each work experience, because it helps the recruiters to say like, okay, this person worked with this exact technology that we're really looking for from this to this year in this specific company. So that's also really important information that I believe that sometimes is not included in the CVs.
awesome. Thank you so much, Maribas. Do you guys have any more comments about this one or any feedback? I think Maribas was really clear. What do you guys think? Gino and
Yeah, overall, again, too long, too much information, and would need quite a large overhaul completely to be yeah, to be a good CV. So I mean, it's I think that the next ones are a little bit more like the more correct format. Whereas these first two, just how long they are, it's
Mhm.
really hard for a recruiter to follow, I think.
Yeah, and that's actually something like you can have like a lot of experience and you can have all the tech stack, but if it's like really I don't know, it's if it's not right at the top of of your CV, or it's not clear for the recruiters, you're not gonna like get ahead in the process, right? So that's really important to actually know, because a lot of people are were asking like oh my, I don't have much experience, I'm really junior, how do I do it, it's I cannot have the way. But a lot of people are has the experience, they also make mistakes, so it's important for like everyone to get know those feedback, right? So the next one is actually a full stack engineer from Argentina. He's a really junior one. He this was once was corrected by Gino. Gino, you want to let us know a little bit about this one? Gino?
Yeah, sorry. My the window just minimized, but yeah, I mean, I think that the format was a lot better on this one. I think that at least the design of it's much easier to follow. Obviously, I only had some minor improvements, and obviously, this person seems to be just getting into the industry, so obviously they're not going to have as much information as maybe the person that did the other like multiple page CV.
The
But the
seven.
list of yeah, so obviously like that helps, but at the same time, uh, so to start with the list of skills, just make sure that it's ordered by either your actual skill level with each skill or how
Mhm.
relevant the skills are to the job that you're applying for. Because if you're applying for a Node.js, like a full stack Node.js position, full stack JavaScript, then Node.js, Express, all of those things are pretty relevant. I'd probably put JavaScript and React first. So if you can take a little bit of time to make the CV a little bit more relevant to each job, it really helps, because the recruiters are. I mean, as a recruiter, you're going through a CV in just a matter of minutes, and the more relevant that it is to what you know the job is looking for, then the quicker you can make the match and the more engaged you are in reading the rest of the CV is the truth. So organize it depending on how strong you are with each skill, or make it relevant to the job. And then I think that in the professional, like I said, the design is fine. It's okay to get a little creative with, it looks a little bit better than like a more classic CV. But on the professional experience, I definitely would try to, I guess it's a tip for more junior developers or junior candidates, but try to squeeze as much information out of the little experience that you have professionally, so that you can talk maybe more about those projects. Like this one seems to be a project that this person did uh, in school or while studying development, but try to get as many. And I think that they did a pretty good job here, like putting, web server setup, the design implementation of the database. Like it at least does go into some detail, but because you're just getting into the industry, you're going to need content, and you should uh, try to really remember what you did for every project, and so that you have more details for each. So basically just spend more time on those projects, or if you've only worked for a year, then spend more time focusing on what you did that 1 year, because really if you have 10 years of experience, you still have to condense every experience. So I think that would help. That would help. But otherwise, I thought that the overall format was better. I don't know, what does Maripas and Emily think about this one?
I would add in the professional experience maybe the same thing, the tech stack section, where he mentions like the main technologies he used in each work. Also, in the quality analyst job, I don't see that he mentions the company he worked for. So that's also something that is important to add. Mm-hmm.
I would definitely reformat it, because I believe it's there, but it's under the date.
Right.
So
Yeah.
maybe just put like
Alimentarias
the
and Francisco.
company. Yeah, maybe just put like the company, the position that you put, and when you put the position, I think this is more common on non-IT roles, but make sure that even if it's like the company's lingo, right? So for example, I'm a talent acquisition specialist at Tekla, and we call our talent acquisition specialist people our TAS. So if I were to put like Tekla, TAS, and then the period, people who read my CV will be like, what? Who is a TAS? What does a TAS
What's
do?
the task?
Right? What's a TAS? Who are you? What are you doing at Tekla, right? So make sure that the title that you put in is understood by everyone. Can
Like
be
for the
understood by
Yeah.
everyone. Yeah, I think that's like a great tip.
Or
And
try
always,
try to try to find a title that is more common in the industry for that,
yeah,
because some tech companies call, their tech companies are making up new
yeah,
titles every day, right? So if
They
you
get
do have
really
one of
creative, yeah.
if you do have a creative title, then try to make it more standardize it for your
Uh-huh.
CV, would be a good way
yeah.
for everyone to understand what it is.
Yeah, and always remember to also put the period that you worked at. So just like month and year, that's great. You don't have to put like the exact day that you started there and the exact day that you left that place. Just putting like the month and the year, that's great, because it gives us like a reference of how long you were like performing these tasks, and how
Yes.
like experienced you were at this task. So that's also a great tip to keep in mind.
Awesome. So we have a few questions from YouTube. So I'm gonna share it. The first one is from Bruno. So about hyperlinks, is it worth putting links in certifications, gradation courses? I believe he's saying that about education. What are your thoughts about this one, Emily? Or
Yeah, I think it's worth it if you're on the more junior side of a professional. If you're already like quite experienced, and I guess okay, let's go back here a little bit. What does a recruiter is looking for when they open your CV, right? So the first thing they want to know is like what's your name, where you're from, and then your professional experience. If they're looking for a junior role, then they know that they won't find that much information on the professional experience section. So they will look up for like your personal projects or your certifications. So then you know that will be relevant to show them more information about that. like certifications and courses. But if you are already a seasoned professional and you have a ton of experience, then the certifications won't be as important unless it's something like, for example, AWS that is like very on demand right now. Then
And it's an
that
important certification from the
yeah,
company. Yeah,
and
the
it is
whole.
relevant to the position that you're applying for.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Gina, on Maripas?
Um,
Yeah. I,
Go ahead,
oh,
my best.
oh no, that I believe that Emily has a really good point. So I believe that yeah, if if we're looking for more junior candidates, it's like okay, yeah, because they won't have like that much experience, so that would be something really really relevant when we're looking at that. However, something that also Steph mentioned before is that you can add that to your LinkedIn profile, and then a recruiter can go there and just like check all the links there. It could be like easier. Maybe you could put like certifications. You can look at them up at my LinkedIn or something like that. But yeah, so yeah, sorry, what were you
Yeah.
going to say?
No. I was gonna say that I would add hyperlinks because I mean, they're free. They don't add any space. I
Yeah.
would add hyperlinks just in case the recruiter or the hiring manager wants to go into. Sometimes, for example, just speaking out of when I am the hiring manager and I do see a course that I think is relevant, then I do actually want to see what was in that course. Like I get interested and I'm like, oh, well, what did this course cover?
What about?
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, what's it about? So actually, yeah, hyperlinks would help definitely.
Yeah, so if you actually include a course, it will be best if you hyperlink it. That will be the final.
Yeah, then the hiring manager can read what was included in that course and what you learned.
Awesome. So thank you, Bruno. I hope that answers your question. So we're gonna go for the next one. Valentina is asking if a person has worked for several different jobs, doing pretty much. Oh, sorry, it closed it up. Doing pretty much the same work using the same tools, is it worth it adding the same details to each of the jobs description? Isn't it too repetitive? So what do you guys think? I believe she's mentioned like if you've been a front end developer here and a front end developer here and you're doing the same type of things.
Yeah.
She's asking if it's too repetitive. What are your thoughts, Gina? I'm gonna.
And I think that you can always try to pull something from each position. They can't have been exactly the same position at every company in terms of there has to be something that you can highlight. But it being repetitive, I still think you need to put what you did. And if it's repetitive, it is going to help you in a position that really is focused on
Looking for
finding
that.
someone with that experience. Like if you see it multiple times, like if a startup is looking for someone with experience, I don't know, spinning up a backend and doing all of the like infrastructure, like setting up the instances on AWS and actually doing everything from scratch, and then seeing it 3 times back to back is would be amazing. That would be, I think the hiring manager would be like interview immediately because this person has 3
Lots of
different
experience.
places where they've done the same thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
So sometimes I think it's actually very good to have repetition, but if it's not what the job is looking for and you just repeat 3 times what the job is not looking for, then chances are you're not going to get called for an interview.
Yeah, I think it also shows consistency. But then, as Gina was saying, right, if we see like the same description, copy pasted 3 times under a different company, then we'll be like, I think this person, I'm not sure about this person saying the truth. Because you cannot do the same thing at all the companies, right? There has to be, it also shows like you invest the time in detailing what you did at each company. It shows attention to details. So yeah, don't copy paste it, but showing that you've been doing the same thing at 3 different companies, I think it's a plus actually.
Yeah, and also like maybe try to stand out the different outcomes you've had in each job. So try like to stand out a little bit more that achievement section. That could also be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
We have another question from Chameleon 100. Hello, I've got a question. I have 2 remote jobs that I'm doing part time. How does it look for a recruiter when they see 2 current jobs on the resume? That's a good one actually. What do you guys think? I'm seeing Emily nodding. I think she's this before in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think what's important here is that in your resume, it shows that they are remote and that they are part-time. So then
Mhm.
when the recruiter opens it and they see that you're currently at two positions, they're like, wait, how did he do two things at the same time during the same amount of hours? Like, how is that possible? We'll be wondering, right? But if you put like it's part-time, then we'll be like, oh, okay, it makes sense. So make sure that you put that it's
Yeah.
part-time. And also, I don't think they like immediately disqualify it, but I think if you have like very specific, like the skills that you have are like a super match with what the recruiter is looking for, they will most likely email you and be like, hey, can you give me a little bit more context as to why are you like doing two part-time jobs instead of one full-time? Is that like the style of work that you like
You
doing, just
want,
working
yeah.
part-times? Or are you interested in full-times? Because I'm looking for a full-time. So yeah, I mean,
More
it really
context.
depends on the case. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like Emily said.
Yeah.
Hmm. Like when I see a candidate that maybe doesn't, sorry, Dino, did I interrupt you again?
No, 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 no. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll always go after you.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so when I see a candidate that has like two jobs and they don't like specify this is a full time or part time, I always reach out to them because if I send that resume to the company, it will be like, how come do you have
Mhm.
to? Yeah, like what Emily was selling. So yeah,
Thank
I would
you.
definitely recommend adding that information there. Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Your turn,
But
yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, to be completely honest, I mean, he asks, how does it look for a recruiter? And it depends on the job, right? Like if you're working, if you're applying for like a gig project based type thing, then it looks fine, not a problem. If you're applying for a job with a company that is, they care about the tenure and how long you're at each company. And most of the hiring managers do nowadays. They don't want to hire people that have only spent 3 months here, 6 months here, 9 months here. And so, um, how does it look? Depends on where you're applying, but it could look not that attractive to someone that is looking for like a full-time person. But I mean, a good recruiter will ask questions like Emily and Maripaz said. So if it's not clear, then they will ask like, oh, how did this happen? And then you'll have to explain, oh, well, there were two part-time jobs. And so it's better to have it clear on the CV. But yeah, it's not always the most attractive thing, but
And what
depends.
about like for this specific case? What about the person is actually looking for a full remote opportunity? That they can maybe they can put it in the abstract or like in the first paragraph of their CV and actually kind of like give it some more context about it. What are your thoughts about I don't know that way, or maybe just like put part time remote? What Emily was saying.
Mhm. Well, yeah, I think
So
that you could do that to the abstract. Yeah, like, hey, I'm working two part-time jobs, but I'm looking, to change to a full-time job or something like that. Or maybe add that to your LinkedIn profile. Mhm.
okay,
Yeah, I agree. Address it. If you're applying to a job
Yeah.
where you know that they're looking for a full-time person with, then I think addressing it, like Mary Paz says, is better than avoiding the subject.
Yeah.
Okay, so Maria Jose has a really good question just about this one. Thank you, Majo. It's right on time. So Majo is saying, I see a lot of people struggling to write a good summary section. Do you have any tips for that? What are your like favorite tips or your favorite summary section? Do you actually like the summary section or not so much? What are your thoughts about it? Ems, please.
Okay. Sure. So I also have like mixed feelings about it, right? Because if I'm being like 100% honest, when I open a resume and I honestly just keep straight, I don't read the summary at the very top unless I need to find more information about this person, right? Because usually the summary should include information that I will not find somewhere else in the resume. That's my personal take, and it should be very straightforward. If I see like a summary that is like 5 lines, I'm like, I'm not reading this. If it's like 3 lines, then I might read it. I might read it because maybe in the summary, they can be like, like I don't know, like experience in Python, looking for a full-time job with Python or something like that, right? So then
Okay.
it's clear, right? So what was like Maripa saying, you can put what are your goals in the summary, because I won't find that anywhere else in the resume. So yeah, but being absolutely honest, I would say don't spend too much time writing a good summary. You can skip it overall and concentrate on writing a very good like professional experience section. But yeah, that's my
I
take.
love the honesty. Yeah, I love the honesty. That's really helpful. Like for everyone who's watching, we have more than 20 people on LinkedIn, and a lot more people on YouTube. So everyone, I'm assuming they are nodding and they're like, okay, noted. What are your thoughts, Gino and Maripaz? Gino, you can go first.
Before Mario Paz cuts me off. Uh, well, I mean, I think that one tip that I would share, or like a trick, I guess, although I think it's pretty straightforward, is to keep it short. Like Emily was saying, if you are going to write a summary, keep it very short and base it off of the job description. Again, I guess I'm a big fan of not applying to every job, but rather applying to the jobs that you're actually a good fit for. And so if you're not just blasting your CV to every position out there, and you are actually applying to these positions that you're like curating for yourself, or whatever, or someone is curating for you, then write the summary based on the job description. I mean, you can tell what the hiring manager wants, because the hiring manager is the one that writes the job description. So if in the job description they say we're looking for someone who just loves working on front end, and like is just passionate about front end, and we're not really looking for a full stack, we're looking for someone who really knows everything about React and everything, then I mean, if that's you, then write your summary stating how you love React, and that you love working on front end, and that you're pixel perfect type of front end developer. Yeah, and make it short, but make it according to the job description. I guaranteed if a recruiter reads that in the first part under your name, and it fits right with the job description, it's just in their head, then they're gonna read the rest of the CV. Well, maybe not Emily, because she skips it, but some
Yeah.
of us forget.
Unless you make it like interesting and very exciting. I guess it's also like an opportunity to show a little bit of personality in there, but yeah, I won't read it.
No, so much. Yeah. No, but maybe if you
It's
have
not good
even
when they're broad. When they're general,
yeah,
like, oh,
Yeah,
I pay attention to
Oh,
good
detail.
worker. Yeah,
I'm a great communicator. I like problem solving. Though all of
yeah,
those summaries are a waste of time, unfortunately.
yeah,
yeah. I like the ones that start like, I am a full stack developer with plus 5 years of experience, that are like really, really exact. So I really like reading that. But also, this is like a subjective thing, is that I like that personal touch. Like when they add a quick sentence, like I am a rock star, or I
oh
also like.
yeah, those are cute.
Yeah, I like that. I like that too. Show a little bit of personality. I
of
think
yourself.
that's always great. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and
Yeah,
there's a formula to create like the best summary, but maybe like you could like first start like saying something about yourself, like what I mentioned, like, hey, I have these years of experience doing this and that, and maybe the second sentence write a little bit about your functions, like really, really like brief, and then like your main achievements, like doing your a 3-line paragraph or something like that.
three for
Nice.
Emily.
There we
That's
go.
it.
Those are good. Three different strategies then. Emily
Yeah.
to not write one, and Maripaz to put some personality into it, and then mine, I
Yeah.
guess, is to just read the mind of the hiring manager through the job description.
No, and I think overall it's kind of like the same. So if you are writing one, don't make it like extremely long. Don't make it like the same thing that you can see all over and all over
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
different CVs. Make it like about yourself and be really specific of what you want, right? I think Emily will read if she's really looking for a
Yeah.
Python developer and she
Yeah.
just sees like a keyword Python expert. I'm 100% sure she will just like go her eyes
Mhm.
over there. So the
Yeah.
main goal is to actually
One would
make
hope.
Emily read your summary. That's your
Yeah,
goal.
because honestly, like I would skim the resume, right? So, but if I do find something that like, catches my eye in the summary, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna read it. But if I feel like the very generic, like, oh, like,
Yeah,
yeah, no. If it's generic, I'm not reading it.
Okay, we're gonna do one more
that's
question
fair.
because it's a follow up, and then we'll do that the next CVs that we're running out of time. So it's a follow up actually from Camille, and so about the two job questions. One of them is an
Mm-hmm.
unpaid job, but it's not an internship. Should that be on the resume? That's actually interesting. What are you guys thinking? Because we don't have that much context, right? It's only from this question, but what do you guys think? Maybe it's a part time that they only want the experience of it. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
To be honest, I believe that it's a little bit irrelevant if it's unpaid. I would just like, if you're doing the jobs of a part-time job and you're having like all the functions, you just can write like part-time job. We don't need to know if you're getting paid for that or not.
Or not? That's
Like
fair.
only specify if it is an internship. If not, that's all right.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
Awesome. So please keep the questions coming. We're gonna continue with the rest of the CVs, and then we can continue with the question from YouTube and LinkedIn. Thank you so much for those. So the next one, Emily was reviewing it. It's a copywriter from Venezuela, right? Ems, can you give us a little bit of context of what you
Sure.
saw in this CV?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess something additional to what we've been like talking for a while now. Well, the header is fine. I love that. But then I would definitely like under like the country, the email, you can add there your LinkedIn link up there, like
Mhm.
put it up there because that's something that we would like to see. And for example, this person he has a portfolio link, but he puts it in the summary and not under the other socials or the other links that
And
he
it's a
shows in
really
his
long
resume.
link, right? It's a drive link, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. So that I would like, for example, for copywriters and editors and anyone who does have a portfolio, add the link, make it hyperlinked, and put it somewhere very visible and easy to find. In this case, it gets real blended in the summary and it could be overlooked, and that's something you do not want. And just one additional thing about like the links that you're sharing. If, for example, this person he's sharing their Twitter and their Facebook link as well. If it's not related to the position, like for example, if you are creating content on your Twitter account, it's
Mhm.
super related to like copywriting and like or stuff like that. If it's not something related to the job, then it's not really necessary for you to put it. Um, I mean, people will do background checks and they will find you on the internet, but you do not need to really put it on your resume. Yeah, I would say if it's not relevant, just
It's
don't put
really
it.
personal,
And
right?
yeah, I think it's like a personal information that you don't like. It's not mandatory for you to disclose. And just one last thing, always check for typos, right? So always proofread them, especially for this person who is a copywriter and editor. To have typos
Exactly.
on your resume will be like,
Big red
I
flag, yeah.
don't know. I don't know about you. But overall, for any type
That's
of
like the
professional,
that's like the people that put detail oriented and they misspell detail
yeah,
oriented. And I have seen it.
yeah,
I have seen it many times, unfortunately. Yeah,
exactly.
Too
It
many times to
happens.
count it.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I've seen it.
That's
So I guess
really
a
well.
good tip will be like once you're done editing and doing your resume, share it with one of your friends because
Yeah.
you've been reading the same thing over and over again, you stop seeing the mistakes, right? You stop seeing the typos and everything. So share it with like a close friend of yours and be like, hey, can you proofread this for me? Like, what do you think about this? So then you'll have another couple eyes like checking your resume.
Yeah, that's a really good advice. Yeah, but make sure it's a close friend because they can skip it. So make sure
Yeah.
they are actually reading it.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we have the next one is a front end developer from Brazil. So this one was corrected, reviewed by Gino. Yes. Do you know you have any feedback for this one? It's 1 page long.
Yeah, it was very straightforward. I did put that there were a couple of things like skills, for example. I would put first in this case, and if the person wants to keep this format for their CV, then I would put the skills above the experience because it doesn't take much space vertically, so
Mhm.
it's actually pretty easy to skim as a first thing. So I kind of would like it if it was first, and then the professional experience, and then the education. And then on the professional experience, something that Emily did touch on when we first started is that, or I think Maripaz, I think said it, that I think it is better to put the company first, and then the title that you had within the company, and the location,
Mhm.
and the time, because then you can have multiple positions within one same company. Like this person has two positions in one same company, which is super important to know as a recruiter. You really want the recruiter to understand that very easily because of job hopping. Again, companies don't really
Mhm.
like nowadays to hire people that have been job hopping. So in this case, if it's confusing for the recruiter, they might think, oh, the you only had a job for a few months, and then you were at the other job just for 1 month, and it's actually longer than that. So it would be better, I think, to put it all under one company. Like put the company and then indent it, start with the two positions that you had, so that way the recruiter can see that you were promoted, or that in some way you had some horizontal or
Girls. Mhm.
vertical yeah, leveling up at that company. And I think that would be better, because I had to look a couple times, and then I noticed that it was the same company with different roles. um, Otherwise, the education too, I don't see any formal education, and that's okay. Obviously, if the person doesn't have any formal education, then that's all fine. But if you do, then that should be in the education as well. So otherwise, even if it's just one course that you took, or it's all self-learning, especially if it's self-learning, then you should put the courses hyperlink to the course. Make sure that the hiring manager can really see that the course had some really valuable knowledge that you picked up. So yeah, but overall, pretty straightforward. I like it when they're easy to read. That's important, and the
What do you
bullets were
think?
good.
Yeah, the bullets is a really important one. What do you think about like the use of white space? I think it can be like formatted a little bit different. Like
Yeah, yeah, it could be.
I don't know,
Yeah,
just a thought there. And that's something that can be like because you've done it in I don't know in another thing, and then you export it as a PDF, and then it kind of like
Mhm.
shifts or something. So make sure always to the final product is the one that you were actually editing and the design that you really wanted, right?
yeah. I mean, it's not a big deal, but maybe what is throwing you off, Steph, is that the top is centered, but then the middle is left aligned, and then the bottom is centered again. So it's like not all centered. It's not all left aligned.
Yeah,
It's kind
and
of
it's
goes like
because
this.
at the top they did like I don't know, I don't know the word in English. Oh my god! But they put it like all to the top. They didn't have any much like the
The
space that
frames,
they usually have.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
the
And
frames.
then uh, exactly the frames.
And it
And
looks
thank you
like
so much.
this. It should be like more like this. The information.
Exactly. That was my thought. It's like they're covering the whole page, and we're only looking to this kind of detail because it's actually a good CV, right?
Yeah,
So
with like
Yeah.
definitely like Nick Pitt in here. I guess it would be like more of a like, I don't know about this if it be like a graphic designer and they have a CV
yes,
that it's like the design is like a little bit off, it'd be like, oh. But if you're like a backend developer and
it's okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine.
Okay, awesome. So we'll go to the final one. It's a mobile developer from
Hmm.
Peru, and it was reviewed by
Like,
Maribas. Yeah, this
yeah,
one it's a little bit tricky. It's
yeah,
also very long,
yeah,
and it
5 pages, right? Or 6.
yeah. Like the first thing I would say about this CV is that personally, I don't like LinkedIn templates. I believe that I don't know, the information looks really disorganized. It's weird. And also you need to be really careful because as you can see in DCP, most of like on the bottom part, it's all in Spanish, and also you can
It's
see
because
here,
they downloaded. Yeah.
yeah, that he mentions like some words in English and Spanish, and that's something that you should really, really take care of, because you cannot send a CV with words in Spanish to a U.S. company or to a Canadian company or something like that. And yeah, mostly I would say that about it. Also, that if you're gonna use this, make sure that you have the information really, 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 really organized in your LinkedIn profile. So when you download it, it looks a little bit more organized. Hmm. But yeah, that's like, yeah, maybe the main thing I would say about this one.
And I think like half of the CV was in Spanish,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
The other
exactly.
half was in
Yeah.
English. Like,
I
Mhm.
really,
that
I really hate the LinkedIn CV exports. To be honest, I think
yeah,
it,
Maripaz
it,
was a
it
little bit more polite
yeah,
with
she was a little more
it.
tactful with her opinion on the LinkedIn CVs, but I hate them. They mess up the
I,
words because it's like if you have profiles in both languages, they do that. What you guys were just talking about Octubre, for example, and the dates,
mhm.
and just in general, the format is horrible. I don't know why they don't improve it. Why do you have a whole
Yeah.
uh, uh,
Block, like,
thing on the column on
Different.
the left that is completely
yeah.
unused for multiple pages? No, it's really not a good look, and I think that it shows a little bit of laziness on the candidate side. I'm not gonna lie.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
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 because
because
we
we
all
know.
know. We know, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a recruiter, but I work in Tekla, right? And we all know that's from LinkedIn. And
yeah,
especially it's like you didn't put actually the effort to write your LinkedIn correctly at the same
Mhm.
time. So it's like both sides.
yeah.
Your LinkedIn
Yeah.
is not complete, and also your CV is not complete.
Mhm.
So yeah. So if anyone from LinkedIn is watching this right now, so make
They're
sure
gonna ban us right now. They're gonna take us
that
off.
Yeah.
they're gonna put our lives down right now. So, but yeah, sure. I
I
don't
wish
know.
we had
You have to follow.
such clout that LinkedIn was watching what we have to say. But the reality is, I'm sure every person, every candidate and recruiter feels the same way.
Yeah.
Their designers could do a better job with the
Mhm.
CV builder they have.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I feel like something that's also important is that when it comes to resumes and LinkedIn profiles, right? They shouldn't be a mirror. They shouldn't be the exact same thing. Like you can use your LinkedIn profile as your portfolio, even. Like you can add a lot of like I don't know, the website that you design. You can put it on your LinkedIn profile. Like you can use LinkedIn as a social media, like that can store a whole lot of information, but your resume should be like very impactful, very straight to the point, very tailored to the position, as tailored as possible to the position that you're applying for. So they really shouldn't be there. When we see that someone exported their LinkedIn profile, we're like, oh, okay. They were just looking for the easy way out. Just like a, yeah, like a quick win, you
Emily's
know.
like, I'm not gonna read your summary.
No.
Yeah,
That's
the
worth
summaries tend to be very long too, because on LinkedIn, on
Yeah.
your profile, you can write a
Yeah.
lot, but it gets hidden. But then when you export it, the whole thing gets exported. So actually,
Mhm.
it's worse
it.
for
The
it's
whole
Emily's worst nightmare when it
Yeah.
comes to the summary.
It is.
That's true. So yeah, those were like the six CVs that we handpicked from a lot of CVs that were sent to us. So thank you so much to the ones who volunteer. I hope you guys were watching the live from LinkedIn or YouTube. I'm sure you were watching. You were there. And if you have any more questions, you can contact Maripaz, Emily, or Gina, or myself through our LinkedIn channels. But also you can contact Tekla in all our social media. So I'm gonna share our CV template, and then we can say our final conclusions for that matter. So screenshot this one. Okay, so this Emily, do you want to kind of like explain a little bit of this template that we use for the candidates? And of course, if
Mhm.
someone really wants the format, you have to register at Tekla. So and register.
Yeah.
We're gonna put the links on YouTube. So yeah, the production already did. Thank you, production. Thank you for that. But Emily, can you explain a little bit about our template?
Sure. So as we were saying that, right? Like kind of like wrapping everything up. What is the recruiter looking for? They're looking for who you are and how to contact you. So that should be the first thing that it shows, and that's like at the very top. Then we're looking for your professional experience, and very in line with what Maripaz was saying. Put the information that should be under your professional experience should be where you're working or where did you work, what position did you have, the period that you stayed at that place, and then bulleted, very straightforward, your tasks and the tech skills in this case that you like. What are the stacks that you worked with at this position? The reason why that's like one of the best things that you can do is because then the recruiter will read, right? Like I worked, I don't know, migrating monolith to microservices, and then we read under the key skills which technologies you use to do this task. Then it's like very easy for us to be like, oh, this is the guy that I'm looking for. So that's definitely like a good format to have. Like show the task, show the text skills that you used, and then always order it from the latest role that you had to the oldest one. That's very important because we want to know what you're doing right now and then go back on the timeline. It's very important. And then below, just your education and your relevant courses. Again, it should be relevant, keyword relevant and related to the position that you're applying for. And then the languages and other technologies that you have experience with.
Awesome, thank you so much, Ems. Remember, you can have this template on our platform, and you can also have our CV builder that is within our platform. And you can. Thank you so much. I think was Nico Verba. I think we didn't review your CV. Thank you for
He
your.
should send it to us. He can send
Yeah.
it to us, and we'll email him with some feedback, since he did send it to us, and we appreciate that the community sending us their CVs for us to just give some feedback on and use as samples. So I'm sure we can send Nico an email with some feedback.
Yeah, I'm sure we can, and we will. If you can send it to us like right now through a LinkedIn message, that'll be amazing. If not, I'll send something to you tomorrow with that feedback that we get from your profile. So yeah, any final conclusions, Marty Paz, Emily, Gino? Thank you so much for being here as well. What are your final thoughts, your final tips for writing a winning English CV? Remember, it's like, and for actually for non-native speakers, that's the main thing today, right?
Okay.
Don't fight over the over the final.
Over the microphone.
I didn't want to interrupt again.
I go
Okay.
after Mary Paz. I know that I have to let Mary Paz go first, and then I'll follow up
Okay.
with anything.
Thank you. Okay, so well, the main things I would say is that try to make it brief, try to send out the main information regarding the job description you're applying for. I know that it can be a little tedious, but you need to change your CV depending on what you're applying for, and try to send out those technologies, those functions, etc., that the company is looking for. And yeah, don't forget like the relevant information, like the dates, the name of the company, the title you had. What else? Yeah, also the hyperlink, something really important that we discussed today. And yeah, and try to make a brief summary. Otherwise, Emily won't read it.
What about you? What about you, Ems? So Gino can close.
Okay, yeah. I feel like writing a good resume is a skill by itself. It's really a lot of work. You do need to invest time in writing a good resume, but if you do a really good one, like your effort will bear its fruits. So really like try to pay attention to it. Also, I know when someone is looking for a job, it can be very stressful because you're desperate. You really want to find like, a ton of them, but really like pay attention to what you're applying and how are you presenting yourself to that position, because I can be like a great front end developer React, but I just want some experience at front end and I just apply to everything that I find, but then I'm not really a match to these positions because I'm not selling myself the right way. So try to always keep that in mind, and good luck, I guess. We all need it. We all need good luck. So
Yeah, we all need honest recruiters
yeah,
that you guys. So that's
yeah.
always great.
Yeah, we got to get the
Awesome.
insights of what recruiters are looking at. But I think that the thing I would say is to use your CV as a tool to get selected in the process and to get an interview essentially. So I don't think it's the definition of you. It's not the definition of you professionally because there's so many things that you can't fit into it. You should just look at it as a tool to get an interview at wherever you want to work. Like use it as a tool in terms of for that job. Try to adapt it, like I've said before, and like M said, right? Like put that time into it, and it will pay off. But if you just blast every job with the same CV, well, it is going to be a low percentage of success, definitely. Yeah, because it's going to be very generalized. So I think use it as a tool.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Gina. Thank you, Maripaz. And thank you,
Thank you,
everyone
Steph.
who's been on LinkedIn and YouTube. Please register at our platform. So we'll be really happy to give you a warm welcome over there. Go through all our social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are more than 500 subscribers right now. So that's awesome. Remember, you can only comment and ask questions if you are a subscriber. And you can always look again to this video and go back to the exact moment that we are looking through a CV and go back to screenshot everything that you want. So yeah, thank you, everyone. We'll see you again next week on another event. Thank you. Bye,
Thank
guys.